tapa should be practiced in life, because that removes us from the cage that we normally are in almost entirely, almost all of our time. People, almost all of the time, people are in the cage of I, me, mine. It's a very powerful cage that does not allow people to come out of it and become free. And so if we cultivate the habit to act, to perform some actions, to help other people, not by giving $1 of donation to some good cause, though that helps, but by giving something that we care, by giving something that we can't quite afford to give without feeling the pinch of it, then that helps us and it helps them. The service that we give is not the service of giving $1 done by somebody who has enough dollars and remaining without that $1 will not feel much disturbance at all, or in fact will not even feel the loss of that $1. No, but if you have $2 and you give $1, that means you're depriving yourself of something that you would need. And that action carries a special meaning and message in the world for you, to the person who is a recipient of your act of service, and for all. It means that you have somehow consecrated that action. You have made it sacred somehow with your sacrifice. And that is the spirit of tapa. Tapa means to deprive oneself of something, or to feel some discomfort for the sake of others. Those who practice tapa know that after practicing tapa, after doing such actions or such service, they have wonderful meditations. It is always the case. And that is not surprising. It is so because at the time of giving this type of service, we deprive ourselves of something that we would normally consider that we need, and therefore we are somehow erasing our ego, somehow disempowering the force of I, me, mine that usually controls our life. So tapa is a very important practice for the meditator in particular. The fourth point is svadhyaya, and here, what did I write? Clear understanding of spiritual subjects. Svadhyaya means to read or study or learn, not necessarily through not necessarily through books, maybe through discourses, maybe through discussions, to study and learn spiritual subjects. Spiritual subjects about the nature of the universe, the nature of ourselves, the meaning of life, spiritual subjects. But it means to have a clear understanding, and I'd like to stress the word clear understanding. Clear because we need to use our penetrating minds to understand clearly the essence of the truth, the essence of the teachings that come to us. Therefore, not to mechanically, dogmatically learn something and superficially understand it and maybe even apply it in our life. We might say that that is better than not doing anything at all. But that is not what svadhyaya means. Svadhyaya means to use one's developed consciousness, to use one's developed awareness to penetrate into the mysteries of the spiritual teachings, of the spiritual subjects. If we do not do that, if we learn things superficially, then there is every possibility of our encouraging dogmatic ideas, of our accepting dogmatic ideas. But the spiritual svadhyaya is that the essence of the teaching has to be so deeply realized that our inner mind recognizes it as true. When we learn something, we should not learn something because somebody, the person who teaches it to us, is liked by us, and we are prone to believe him or her, even though we don't have our own independent understanding or judgment of what they say. In some cases, you may have to trust the person who teaches you something if you don't have a chance of understanding it by yourself. You may have to begin by trusting that teacher. But if the teaching is so important, you must make the essence of that teaching coincide with something, resonate with something that is within us. If it does not resonate, then be careful. In some way, you have to understand it clearly until something within tells you, yes, this is completely acceptable by me. It makes sense. I understand it. That's the spiritual svadhyaya. The last point of these 5 principles of Niyama is Ishvara Pranidhana. And I wrote, taking shelter in the cosmic entity. That's because Ishvara means the cosmic entity, the controller of all waves of manifestations that exist in the universe. The controller of all ways, of all manifestations is called Ishvara in Sanskrit. And Pranidhana means to take the shelter in, to run towards, to run after, or to take the shelter in. So the translation here was taking shelter in the cosmic entity. It means again that instead of relying on something finite, instead of establishing one's security, of building one sense of security on something external to us, and depending on that, we become free from everything that is external to us, and we fall back onto something which is completely internal. How is it possible that we need something external for our well-being? How is it possible that we have to acquire it from the external world, which is a world of passing show? It cannot be. For us to be fully rooted in our existence, we must withdraw within. We must go deep inside. We must move inwards. So Ishvara Pranidhana means actually, in general, taking shelter in the cosmic idea, in the supreme cosmic entity, relying exclusively on that cosmic entity for everything, making that cosmic entity the hinge, the hub on which our life revolves around.